and welcome to Backcap. We are so tiny on the screen today because we are doing a beginner's guide. So for those of you who have questions, curious about how this beautiful game actually runs, we're here to give you the basics and teach you a little bit about Gigantic through beautiful visuals. Today I have three wonderful community coaches. I have Mr. Noah Bot, Malcor, and I have Fox, all capital Fox, not to be confused with the other foxes. So if you guys would like to introduce yourselves a little further, go ahead, Noah Bart.
Sure, yeah. No, I guess I am now the quasi web developer on GG Unleashed. Used to play for Team Tiny before we kind of all fell apart, and yeah, I really love Gigantic, and it's an awesome game.
All right, Mal, tell us a little thing about yourself.
I'm Malchior. Been involved with Gigantic since PAX Prime, so like right when they first showed off. I kind of just bum around. I'm not really involved with anyone in particular. I'll just like blow up Twitter a lot.
Nice. He's not wrong.
And Mr. Fox.
Alright, I'm Fox. I'm the organizer of the Warpath Gaming League. I've been with Gigantic since August of last year, so I've been around quite a while. And the game's amazing. I love playing it competitively. I love coaching. I love teaching people about the game. Yeah, that's it.
All right, excellent.
I would say we're glossing over the fact that didn't your team win PAX East? Like the team you were coaching?
The team I coach, yeah, Pleasure Castle, they won PAX East.
So legitimately, literally the best coach.
You pretty much best coach NA. Better coach than Superior, who's probably watching.
Oh.
And better coach than me.
Shots fired.
So.
Wow. Well, on that note, we better move on.
I forever have the glory of beating Tildo's team at South. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I can't beat Superior in game, but at least I beat him at coaching. So I'm gonna use that against him for the rest of my life.
Take your victories where you can get them, man. No shame, no shame.
Yeah.
So for this episode, it's going to run a little differently. We're not quite doing an interview again. And I would like to point out that please, if you have any questions about the mechanics of the game, feel free to post them in chat. And also, if you want to send GG_unleashed a tweet with hashtag Backcap, I will also be getting those hashtags as well with any questions. So yeah, and just keep in mind, we are under NDA. Please keep that in mind, and everyone here. So this is all things that are publicly known. So we will not be breaking NDA today. Probably. So.
Hopefully.
So first up is we're going to go through our heroes. There's currently 16 heroes out. And the heroes are the characters that you play. I'm going to switch, and keep in mind I have a whole bunch of pop-ups, so if it goes blank for a second, that's why.
Fancy graphics.
I do. I have so many fancy graphics. I am teaching us right, okay? So let's get it.
Fancy.
He's still fancy. So here we have some hero types. We have melee, ranged, and support. And there's a whole bunch of characters. So we have Aisling, Gnosis, the Margrave, Trip, Taito the Swift, and Wu. And these are all characters who get into your face. A couple of them do have ranged attacks, but for the most part, it is in your face combat. For ranged, we have Charlock, HK, 206, Imani, Mozo, Roland, and Voden. And these guys are going to be attacking from the back line. Heavy hitters, especially characters like Imani, can hit you from literally across the map. Incredible. And then we have support. And while they're not really conventional supports in Gigantic, which is very interesting, we do have some supports. We have Griselma, Uncle Sven, Vadasi, and Zenobia out right now. To do all sorts of messing up the enemy team. So, and those are the types. Do you guys have anything to say about the types before we move on?
Not particularly. I mean, generally, there is a lot of fluidity, you know, especially among support. Like, a lot of the supports can function just as well as, you know, a ranged or melee. I mean, I know Sven, a lot of times you'll see Sven get played as essentially a ranged carry. Like, he has enough damage that if you build him, you know, focusing on doing damage, like, he's just as good range. And some of the, you know, melee range heroes work just as well as support. Like, HK has as much crowd control abilities as some of the people that are more on the support side.
Yeah, the one. Sorry, go ahead,
No.
Fox.
I would have to agree with that. I would say that there are certain characters like Voden who can be played as a support as well. I know me specifically, I don't play Vadasi as a support. I do play her as a ranged DPS and a carry, using that term loosely because really there's no such thing in this game. But essentially, I play her very aggressively and not. I don't stay back and I don't support with her. And I think that's what's great about this game because every character can be any specific, can play any specific role.
Yep. It's
all the one thing. The one thing I'd have to add is with the melee, there's kind of a sub archetype, and that's Trip, Taito, and Wu. They're like the swift assassin or hit and run style of melees. Or Margrave, Gnosis, and Ashling, they're more direct engage. Ashling does have an option for some range potential, and even Gnosis has some option for a range potential, but usually at some point you have to get down and dirty in their face.
Absolutely. I would agree with all of that they are interchangeable, but for the most part, that's what you're looking at. And I like categorizing them because a lot of number one question with heroes is what do you like to play in previous games, and this is a nice little guide to, you know, if you like melee characters, this is who you're gonna want to be playing for the most part. And once you get better, you can be fancy about. You could play Vadasi as a carry, you lunatic. I can't. Whew.
Backcap Pegasi every day.
Oh God. So anyway, so let's go ahead and I don't want to talk about it. So let's get into meeting these characters. I have them in a totally random order, so enjoy that. All right. First up, we have the Margrave, who again is a melee character. Perry, do you want to do the Margrave?
I want to do the Margrave. I really, really like the Margrave. At this point, like, the Margrave, or just Margrave, is essentially one of the best engaged tanks in the game. Like, if you're playing Margrave, your job is essentially to use your leap attack, your E, and just kind of dive in, suicide, start a fight. Like, sometimes you'll get out safely, but, like, you are there to, like, jump in, because you can upgrade his leap to get a stun on it, so you jump in, stun as many people as humanly possible, and then just run around beating people up for probably, you know, as long as you survive or until everyone's dead. It's really fun. Most of the times I've seen it play, like, you still get kills. Like, it's not like you're a tank and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of walk in and, like, everyone's gonna ignore me. Like, some of my best games ever have been playing Margrave. You get, like, fantastic KDA, because, like, you die, but you take, like, 3 people out with you. It's a beautiful death.
Yeah, also, his focus skill is really fun.
Yeah, you smash the ground, everyone flies up, dust flies up. Like, if you do it right, you can leap in and then pop your focus ability and let everyone's in the air and stunned for, like, 3 seconds. It's beautiful.
It is. He is a formidable character. And just to go over some of his abilities, we have Slash, which is, you know, you're going to be just cutting people down. We have Frenzy, which if you hold down, you get a rapid attack that slows you.
And is a shield.
And as a shield. So you're slow, but you can also deflect incoming projectiles, which is awesome. Charge, you rush forward, interrupting enemies you hit. And then the leap attack that interrupts, which is what you were saying. You could leap in, and then finally do your focus ability, which will smash down upon the enemy team. So,
yeah.
So that is the Margrave. Up next, we have Vadasi. Fox, would you like to talk about Vadasi?
Definitely talk about Vadasi. So basically, she's probably, I'd have to say, one of the most difficult to get used to. her main ability, the most important ability, is devotion. Basically, what this does is it'll cast an orb around you, and if you hold it, you can cast more than one orb. The more orbs that you have out, up to 3, the more damage you're going to do to yourself over time. If you use a spell, it depletes one of the orbs until there's no orbs left. So basically, she's difficult because as a new player, you have to really be paying attention to not only your stamina, but your health. She's very complex. I actually play her as a smite build, so I would really focus on my right click, which is would cast a fireball. And I focus on using my orbs to self-heal myself and gain the boost of speed and the jump, kind of go into the back, do as much damage as I can, and get out and escape quickly and safely. If you want to build her as a healer, you can use your Ray of Judgment, and that will basically latch on to a team. So if you're not really good at aiming, you don't have to worry about that because it's basically an auto attack. And you can upgrade that as well to heal more players at once. Not only does this heal players, but it also damages enemies. So she is a deadly force. And you don't want to be caught 1v1ing Pegasi because she will take you out.
Yeah, she's hard to play, but if you get used to her, she is one of the best supports of the game, like hands down. Like she
100%.
Like she has got the best healing and some of the best support capabilities.
Absolutely.
And not to mention her ultimate there, which will give you invulnerability.
So troll.
I mean, she's pretty strong if you know how to play her, and
it's like a 7-second invulnerate focus 3 or something.
It's
gross.
It's 8 seconds, so it's it's like 3, 6, 8, or 3, 5, 8. Sorry.
And so for beginners, because I had to learn this lesson the hard way, I did not know her focus, and I was playing Gnosis, and I was like, whatever, it's just some lady with fire. Like, she's a healer. And I remember rushing in and being like, what do you mean 0 damage? I can't punch you. And then I got murdered.
If she is gold, you don't want to fight her.
Nope.
Just back away.
No gold. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to a crowd favorite. Trip! The lovely lady assassin. And Melkor, I'm going to give this one to you. Would you like to talk about Miss Trip, our backcapping assassin?
I will do my best. Fox, correct me where I do something stupid. Alright, so Trip is the all-in, pretty much assassin. She's got some of the lowest health in the game, next to no armor. She's all about getting the kill quick and getting out. Popular Trip builds I've seen at the PAXs was Teldo's like damage stacking build. So every time he's hitting his left click, he's increases his damage by like 5% or something, and his speed by 5%. So you can like never catch him. Never. If the Trip plays right, no one should be able to catch her. It's all about speed, going in, landing the kill, getting out, or running around and performing the backcaps on the enemy creatures.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I was adjusting my mic. Yeah, absolutely. I think she's another one that's pretty tricky to get the hang of. I've tried to play Trip at the PAXs, and she looks really easy because you see these people playing her. But she's quite difficult. I could never get the mechanics quite right. She is really squishy, so you have to be careful. You kind of have to be in and out, do your murder, and hop out, which thankfully she has the invisibility for a short time, which is her E, Flash Dance. Oh, yeah.
And I think she really suits that the market for, people who came from World of Warcraft or I don't know, let's say WildStar, for example. They like that rogue type character. She definitely really fits that role. Going into the back, backstabbing. She basically is the assassin of the game. So I think she caters to specific playstyles.
Yeah, if you can get good on Trip early, like, you could be fantastic. I know, like, Team Tideway Luck got really, really good on Trip, like, during PAX South, and he essentially carried us to victory. Like, a good Trip is just a terror.
Yeah.
Absolute terror.
And I just want to say ClashPoint.net.
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 So what, Kitten Laser, what is ClashPoint.net? ClashPoint.net, we are not going into the tactics on this show, but you can check out ClashPoint.net, where you can get strategy guides for each of these characters and also check out their upgrades, because each of these abilities can upgrade twice. And that's how you build your characters for different situations and however it pleases you, just like, Fox builds Vidasi a certain way, whereas I may build her a different way depending on the skills that I choose. So, ClashPoint.net, check it out.
But I will say that none of my builds are up on ClashPoint because, I don't want to give away my secrets.
Wow.
Dang. Super competitive.
Next hero!
Okay, moving on. I am trying to fix my mic for you guys also while we do this. So, alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead into voting. And I can.
Goodness.
Yeah. Is my mic okay, boys? Is it staticky?
Yeah.
I would say, Chad, how's Timber? I'm imagining you're gonna be fine.
You're fine for me.
Okay.
Super excited.
Okay.
Wait, who's next?
So this is basically the character design based off my name.
Imani.
Yep.
Voten!
This is
Fox.
this is voting. See, there is
Fox?
dispute. There is dispute. I think he looks like a deer, so antelope deer, kind of foxy.
But
I've
that
always
tail.
called him.
Definitely a foxtail.
He's a gazelle.
He's a gazelle fox.
He is. Point is, he's kind of a crappy fox. Like, he's a fox, but he's kind of bad at it, because look at him. He has hooves. So, so Voden. Yeah, so he is one of the archers. I really enjoy Voden as a range. He's probably one of my personal favorite ranged characters. I really like his versatility with his poison, and that's really where he shines, is, for me at least, he shines with that poison clouds, and you can shoot the arrow actually through it and poison your enemies. And you also have healing, which I really liked as well, so it gives you that versatility, so you could drop a heal, help your teammate that way. And the decoy,
Also, that jump.
that jump.
Them 360 no scopes.
He's
Yep.
basically the hybrid, because as much as he is ranged, he is definitely support. In my opinion, he gives your team full utility, even without upgrading the hidden spring. So
Yeah.
I think I would classify him as a mix between a ranged DPS support.
Yeah, I would agree.
Whenever I played Odin at PAX, I built him full focus. Because AoE immobilizing the entire enemy team for 3 to 5 seconds is nuts.
Yeah, it's over.
Really good.
Yeah, I would agree with Fox. He is a total hybrid. I think that's why I like him so much, is depending on the situation, I can build him to whatever my team needs and whatever we need to crush the enemy team, which is really, really cool. And that's what's neat about all these characters. They do have that versatility. But yeah, no, he's awesome, and his decoy is hysterical. So his Q, Greeman, will drop a decoy, and it's really, and he even does damage, so you can build Greenman to be a damage dealer as well. Well, you get out, and I've gotten kills via my decoy. He's great and hilarious. Love me some Boden.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So next is a new character who we just revealed. Miss Aisling and Candor, her father.
My girl.
All right, Malcor, you're up. What?
Technically, it's Aisling.
It's
Aisling?
Confirmed from the devs.
No,
it's Aisling.
It's Aisling. It's so hard. I always want to say it phonetically.
It's an old Scottish name, so it's Aisling, and it's I hate to do this. It's Cador, no end.
All right, Malcor, talk about. I'm not even gonna say her name. Anyway, forget it. No, go ahead, Malcor.
She's difficult.
Yeah, so it's Aisling. Like, it comes from an old Scottish word to mean dream, and so like she's dreaming about her dad, and that's what allows him to come out of the sword. She's like a bruiser kind of tank engage character, but you can build her for support and for just ranged harass and poke.
Yeah, she is scary.
And fun. Oh my gosh, so much fun. The way I like to play Aisling is that when I played her at PAX, I got like double like cast the, I think it's the right click does damage twice, and then you turn the Q, no, you turn the E, no, you turn the Q. I'll get this right into a projectile barrier. And so
Yeah.
even and so it'll block enemy projectiles. And when you're playing on a tight map like on Canyon, that projectile even has collision, so you can like keep someone blocked inside a choke point with that thing.
Yeah. I mean, Ashling is immensely hard to play. Like, it's absolutely not, because the problem with her is, I don't know if you've ever played like League of Legends. Like, she's very similar to Orianna in the sense that both her R&B, her Q, and her Q, which are kind of your primary like damage abilities, involve. So we missed her primary mechanic. So you can see her like ghostly father with the awesome mustache behind her. Essentially, if you cast your R&B, like, she summons her like ghost father onto the map, and he runs around. He's got his own AI, and he'll run around and try to kill people for you. All of you, like, both your R&B and your Q and your focus are things that happen wherever he is, not necessarily wherever you are. And so a lot of times you have to be aware of wherever he is and then use your abilities, because like, so like, often you'll be on the other side of the map and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, and then you cast your ability and it doesn't do anything because Kador is somewhere else. Like, Sir Kador is still over on the other side of the map where you were just fighting and not where you are. So there's definitely a lot of awareness that goes into playing him well.
I'm just trying to get my.
And
there.
she does actually. She has amazing escape as well. Because when she does into the blade, she can get speed boost, or she can go invisible. Like, and I believe she does gain health from that as well.
A 33% heal.
So yeah,
You can spec into that.
Her escape is amazing.
Yeah, the thing is that makes her different than Orianna compared to League is all the skills except the left click. All the skills have to be aimed. Where Ori, you can like target an ally, throw the ball on them and shield them, or then you press the button and it does the slow on the location of the ball. If we're going back to League, you have to aim the right click and Kador charges there. You have to aim the Q, ground targeted, and Kador does his shield there. It's not like he can be all the way on the other side of the map. You press Q and immediately someone's slowed. No, you have to be able to see your spot. You got to aim all your shots. And the thing is, managing Kador is the most important part about Aisling, because if at any point Kador dies, all of her skills enter 12-second cooldowns, except like her left click. So if you see an enemy Aisling charge you with Kador, don't be afraid and like try and run. Just like get a little distance, burst him down fast, and then she is completely useless.
Yep.
Next champion.
All right, next champion. Yeah, we do have a lot to go through, so we're gonna say what we say. And yeah, no, it's fine. No, I love it. And just so you guys know, we did start late, so we might run a little late. We're gonna get through this tutorial in its entirety if we're here all night. All right, we have Mozo, the ranged rat.
Okay.
Yes, Perry.
Let's just first talk about the fact that Mozo's a girl.
Yep.
We'll get this clear right from the start.
Mozo is a lady.
It's a girl. Coolest, I'd say one of my personal favorites in terms of art style and animation.
Absolutely.
Definitely a very difficult character to play in a competitive setting because it does a lot of damage but extremely squishy, and typically in a competitive setting people are going to focus down the Mozo because it's an easy kill. One thing I've learned about this game is that, burst damage is huge, and if you have 5 people on one target, they're going to go down really quickly, and Mozo is basically like a double shot. She is super squishy. Her magic bolt is you hold your left click, and as you're holding it, it ramps up and it does more damage the longer you're holding it. Your right mouse button is a slow. It'll latch onto an enemy. It'll slow them. You can actually upgrade this to work together with your magic bolt. So when you're using your attractor beam, it doesn't disconnect from the target, and you can actually use your magic bolt at the same time. Arcane Vortex acts as a vortex that can deflect enemy projectiles. Your Dimension Door is your teleport, where the cool animation comes from, and Death Ray is really evil. If you can build your focus up with Mozo, level 3 Death Ray will pretty much take down a whole team super quickly.
Yeah, Death
Yep.
Ray, I think a full channel of Death Ray onto target says, I think, 700 damage. Is it more than that? I don't know. Essentially, it is arguably the best focus in the game as far as doing damage to a lot of people very, very quickly.
Reliably.
And we're gonna get into this later, but the whole game is team focused, and that ultimate or focus ability tied with Boden's focus ability is deadly, because you lock their whole team in one spot, and then you shoot a death ray and you attack. You can hit up to 5 targets. So
Or
basically. Or like, but I'm just saying that in general, like you can pair people's focuses together, and it's evil.
It's evil.
Yeah, Mozo is just disgusting. Like, her focus will utterly obliterate. Like, a level 1 focus will pretty much, 50% dead.
Yeah. But thankfully, you could murder her if you focus her pretty easily. So I think that's the give and take. So speaking of evil, next up we have Imani. She's a ranged sniper, and if there's one character that I find evil, is this badass biatch right here. Would anyone like to field this? Otherwise, I would be happy to.
Dude, take it, Timber.
All right, I'm gonna take this one. I got my aviator glasses. I'm ready. So Imani has the longest range, hands down, in the game. She is one of those champions that is very squishy. If you corner her, you can murder her, and that's the give and take. And let's see, she has her auto bolts, fire burst at a medium range, so that helps take care of if somebody is coming at you. You can get those quick, close bursts in. And then silent scope, which is her bread and butter. This is her zoom in. This is where you perch yourself in a comfortable spot away from everyone, and then you murdered them from across the entire map. And if you wait, you can actually do maximum damage, which is a massive amount of damage. And then we have cycle ammo, tap once to activate, a boom bolt for extra damage. So you can slow and also do more damage. Are you getting a general theme with Imani? It's damage. You're gonna murder from a long ways away, and you're gonna look awesome doing it. Smoke bomb, this is what I really like about her too, is she does have that mobility to get away. So Gnosis is coming your way, bam, you E, you smoke bomb, you're out. And then her focus, weird. It's more damage. You build your focus, you sit on a ledge, somebody's dead, and somebody's dead very quickly. That is my Imani guide in a nutshell. Find a spot, sit in said spot, murder.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you have played an FPS at any point in the last year, like, you're good. Like, I had a friend who, like, showed up at one of the PAXs. The guy plays, like, Counter-Strike, like, professionally, like, on a professional team. Showed up with, like, 23-0-7 on a body. Like, if you are good at FPS sniping skills, you will just rack up kills on a body. Like, she is really, really good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I did. One of the people like PAX in the press area. He like never played any MOBAs and such before, but he liked this art style, and he saw the speed of the game. He was real interested, so he came and tried the game out. I'm like, okay, what other games do you play? And he's like, well, I play a whole bunch of Counter-Strike. I'm like, all right, here you go, 22-1.
That's incredible. The power Imani has.
A person who's never played these types of games before, all he knew was WASD and land my shots. And that's the thing. If you can consistently land your shots on Imani, you are rewarded, because like one of her upgrade paths is originally you have to wait like that full 3 seconds to get up to the max damage. If you keep hitting your shots, it'll start up at like full charge as long as you don't miss.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yep, like Freak would say, tons of damage. So, on that note, moving on, we have Charlock. Oh, a mage. Perry! Alright, Perry, you're up!
I love Charlock. I love Charlock. So Charlock, like, from all my experience playing at PAX and coaching people at PAX, like, Charlock is really, really fun and really, really easy for people to pick up, but he's also immensely powerful. So Charlock is very similar to Imani. Like you can pick a point like with his left mouse button. He essentially charges up a massive fireball and then throws it. But he has like essentially the same range as Imani. Like not quite as far, but like he can snipe people off across the map with your LMB, and it is great damage. Like and it has an explosion on. Like Imani, you have to hit people like right on. Like Charlock, you'd be like, I don't know, I'm like hitting the general vicinity, and you still do full damage. Like he's awesome. His right mouse button, Dragon's Breath, like you just like spew fire in front of you. Like he holds out his like flame staff and like spews fire. So it's like somebody gets in on you, you can burn them down. His detonate, massive jump, gives him a lot of mobility. It's like, oh, I want to get up on that platform so I can shoot down on people. You know, pop your Q, you end up on top of a platform, or pop it to get away from fights. His hot hail is excellent. You can deploy it at range, it just like rains fire down from the sky on people, and they end up burning and taking damage over time. And then his ultimate is, his focus is arguably one of the, like similar to Mozo, it's one of the better focuses of the game. It lays down like, it shoots out this like tornado of fire in front of you, but leaves down a trail. Like if you stand in it, you just die. Like if you have a level 3 Charlock focus, if you stand in it more than like 1 second, you can wipe an entire team fight with one Charlock focus. It's disgusting. Like, he is incredibly good. And, like, he's relatively tanky for how good he is. Like, he's got a decent amount of health.
Yeah, his move speed is a little on the slower side because I had this described to me at PAX, and I never considered it before. Someone's like, when you see his running animation, he's on all fours, it's like, he's like a bathtub with legs. He's like just clunkily going, duh, 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 duh. But then when you use your detonate, he gains all that vertical momentum that you can use to get in high places and then rain terror from above.
He's fun. If you're new to the game and you get in, play Charlock. Like, he's relatively easy to pick up. All of his upgrades are reasonable, and he's just a lot of fun to play.
Absolutely. So, moving on, speaking of fun to play, we have Griselma. She is, I believe,
Mine.
All right. You'll get the next one, Fox. I got a good one for you next, Fox. So we have Griselma, Summoner. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Alright, so Grandma, as everyone calls her, no one calls her by Griselma, she's Grandma. So, Griselma is basically like a TF2 engineer. She sets up turrets, and then she can either like use those turrets and like heal them up, or she can lay additional traps with her Q and just turn the battlefield into like a landmine, like a minefield. Turn the battlefield into a minefield for the enemy team. Her right click zones the turrets. Her Q does a trap on the ground that can launch up enemies. So you can like set it up behind a corner, and they go around, they hit the trap, and all 3 turrets are just laying in on them. And then her E skill is she just disappears. And this is really troublesome for like newer players. I saw this all the time at PAX. Griselma would jump in her E and disappear. They're like, oh shit, she's gone. And they just run away, not knowing that she pops up in the exact same spot. So after 3 seconds, she'll pop right back up, and then you can continue wailing on her. She's got a lot of stamina, though. She can get away if she gets jumped, unless you keep her CC'd multiple times.
All right. There's good old Grandma. I love Grandma's design so much. So much!
Yeah, if you like just be able to pick an area and murder everyone in that area, Griselma's really good for that.
Yeah, and her sprint animation, she doesn't run. She, like, takes the hand, and, like, the hand runs for her, and she just, like, oh, it's like a bug skittering. And it even has this freaky sound effect. It's like...
It's gotta be the coolest running animation in the game.
It is. Yeah. It is so freaky.
It's very...
She's the creepiest hero in the game. Like, hands down.
She's very Addams Family. I love it.
Yeah. Also, the best glasses.
Hey, I'm right here. Come on. These are pretty cool. All right.
No,
these are really freaking cool. All right. Moving on. Toby, you'll like this one. We are on to HK206. All right. I'm gonna hand this one to Fox. Yeah.
Sure. So HK, if you play any type of shooter, he's gonna fit your playstyle. Um, basically, you have your left click, which is a machine gun. Pretty straightforward. You hold your button down and you do a lot of damage. Your railgun there on your right click will shoot basically a laser beam. You can upgrade this to be more of a projectile that will actually daze the enemy, which is what I do when I play HK. Your mortar, you launch a mortar. That is probably the most fun thing to do with HK. He is amazing for knocking people off the ledge. So if you're really into that kind of thing, trolling the other team, knocking people off the edge, then I suggest HK for you. Fortify will basically stick you into the ground and make you into a turret, rather. I don't personally build HK with Fortify. I never personally use it. And then Swarm, you just unleash a barrage of missiles, and it basically tracks your cursor. You can deal a lot of damage to a team with it if you can land it. But overall, I'd say he's one of the strongest shooters or range characters in the game. That's about it.
All right. Next we have Zenobia.
Timber, this is yours.
And this is mine. You could almost see the casting behind me of her dumb tentacle head. So Zenobia, she is support. I do use that loosely. I like to play her debuff personally, but I have trouble 1v1ing really good Zenobias. They are who I aspire to. And her abilities are Gaze of Envy. If you hold down, you drain enemies' health and you heal yourself. So you basically attach a purple tether to the enemy, and within a certain range, they'll stay tethered. And that can do massive amounts of drain. And then Words of Spite. It reduces enemy armor, so really useful when getting into team fights. And my instinct is to play her far back, but you really, she is a character that can get in your face, especially with that, coupled with Wall of Sorrow, that will interrupt the enemies as well. So you're already sucking away their health, you're getting rid of their armor, and now you're interrupting them and damaging them. With their now reduced armor. Mark of Despair, her E. This creates a zone that slows the enemy and reduces the damage they inflict. So you basically leave a giant purple puddle on the ground, which I usually tend to put down first, and then you knock out their armor, you knock out, you interrupt them, you tether them, and it's GG. Forget it. And that's not even with her focused Curse Soul.
And then you immobilize them.
And then you immobilize them. Oh
my god, I hear stuff.
Yeah, there's like choir music in the background. I kind of like it.
I approve.
Beautiful.
Whenever I play Zenobia, I like to play her as an enabler, using my buffs and snares and stuff, because her damage is kind of low. But it creates these favorable engages for your team. Whether there's a trip running in on you, and you just she's coming. You seen her running at your teammate, so you just wait till she briefly shows herself, toss a Q, and interrupt her chain. That basically removes her ability to get out, and then you can immobilize her if you get the upgrade path on the E, or the right mouse button. Oh, good gracious!
Yeah.
So there's an upgrade that allows that thing to bounce. So now you can break the armor of up to 3 people. And then there's an upgrade that adds a daze to it. So now you get an AoE daze, which daze in this game is essentially can't use skills. So AoE daze up to 3 people for 1 to 2 seconds, plus 5-second plus armor break. Yeah.
If you're curious to learn all the possible debuff types in Gigantic, I can pretty much guarantee you the Zenobia has all of them.
Everyone.
On some upgrade. She can't necessarily get all of them at the same time, but one of her upgrades, I'm pretty sure grants all of the, some path you could eventually get every possible debuff type in the game.
She can't get poison. Poison's reserved to Voden.
Yeah, it's Voden and Woo. I think are the only toys.
I don't think she bleeds either.
No, she can get a bleed on her R&B.
Yeah, I think she burns as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Burn,
she definitely
burn
Yeah,
is
she
on her
burns.
mark of despair.
Yep. So, yeah, so that's
It's
Zenobia.
ridiculous.
She's fierce, and if you get really good at dodging, she's absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, she has a ton of stamina. Probably.
Yep.
No, I don't know about compared to. Probably not on the level of Trip or Taito, but after
Aisling.
them, after Ashley has a ton too. Like probably with number 3 or 4 in terms of total stamina. So she can get in, make all the plays to enable her teammates, and if anyone jumps her, she can run really fast. It is hard to catch a Zenobia.
It's really, really hard. But we are going to let her get away this one time to Taito the Swift. I said it right, finally. It's not Tito. He is not a local pizza delivery man. It is Taito the Swift and his little bunny Fang. Whee!
Fox?
Who?
Taito.
Oh, I'm just making an owl reference. But anyway, so
Oh, who? Oh.
he is another assassin in the game, or she, which we really don't know this. It. So another assassin in the game, on a little bit of the higher health side. So I would consider more towards a Gnosis. So Gnosis I consider a brawler. I consider Taito a brawler as well, but he still has high mobility, which makes him kind of an assassin at the same time. Your left mouse button is just a sword attack, which deals a lot of damage. You have swoop, your right mouse button, and that is your mobility right there. And then you have Blade Dance, which you spin around. You can actually upgrade this to ground other enemy players, stick them to the ground, and then also bleed them. You have Fang, that's your little pet there. You throw, it's a ferret, I think, or
Something
mouse.
like that.
You throw your pet, and it basically will bite the enemy, causing it to be either slowed or bleed or however you decide to upgrade it. And then Blur, you do a lunge attack through enemies and bleed them out.
Alright. That's him. Yeah, he's a pain. I just realized something. So I was like, oh wow, we only have 3 more champions to get through. I'm missing a frog.
Did you miss Woo?
I missed
I will talk on him. You can just go to gigantic.com.
Okay, you
Go right there.
talk to him. You talk. I'm gonna find at least an image of him.
I mean, go through the others right now. I'll do it last.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Next we have Sven.
Ooh. Okay, I have a Sven poster. I literally have a Sven poster behind me. I got this one.
Oh, you got this
Okay,
one.
so Uncle Sven is a hybrid, like, support ranged carry. So essentially, Uncle Sven he's got a combination of abilities that, like, kind of make him a hybrid. So his left mouse button is Firefly. So, like, he's the weird thing about him is all of his abilities are like throwing grenades in an FPS. So they have like a kind of an arc to them that you have to get used to. But so it's his LMB, like, you throw a fire flask, it does like a little explosion, it does fire damage. Pretty basic. Acid flask does a debuff when it hits, and leaves like a pool of acid on the ground that if you walk through it, it'll like break your armor. It does a debuff. It's pretty cool. There's an upgrade where if you throw an acid flask and then a fire flask, it sets the acid on fire, which is awesome. Then Elastic Ooze lets you throw it at a pool where if you walk on it, you can jump super high, which lets you get into like higher cliffs and like gets you into secret areas and just lets you generally escape from fights, all that kind of stuff. His E is Healing Water, which is essentially his support ability. It's the reason he counts as a support in the most general sense. Healing Waters provides a great heal for the team. You can upgrade so everyone that's being healed by it also heals everyone next to them, which in theory makes it the best heal in the game. Like, if you do this right, you end up with like all of your team on top of each other healing from the healing spring, and then also because they have healing spring, healing everyone next to them. Amazing. And then his focus, Chaos Quaff, you throw it out, it explodes, and then everyone in the area gets turned into tiny little Motiga dragons that run around and are completely worthless. So you can throw it out, and you can just totally mess up the entire enemy team. It's pretty fantastic as an immobilize.
Also, Sven's really good at knocking people off the map.
Yeah. Yeah, Cliff Games.
Cliff
There's
Wars.
a couple maps we'll get into later. A couple of the maps have areas where you can throw people off a cliff. One of the private games that some of the coaches like to play is get everyone. The only way they're allowed to kill people is throw people off of cliffs. So we all know all the ways to like throw people off cliffs and kill them, which is dumb and random and awesome.
There was at least 2 Cliff Wars games that were played at PAX.
I will throw it out there too. Voden can also do this. His healing pool can actually be upgraded to launch enemies off of him. And that also, it makes him really good against melee characters and assassins who are trying to get up in his face because he can easily escape it.
Alright, so next we have a Gnosis. Oh, get up there, Gnosis. Alright, Lordnosis! And I'm gonna field this one. He was the very first champion that I played over at PAX South, so he's kind of my introductory character, so I have a soft spot for him. And Lordnosis, we're not sure what he is lord of, but he is Lordnosis, and he is very much a tank melee. I always really like building him tank, personally. And he has a smash, so he has a brutal melee combo, and you can upgrade that to do even more damage. You just get in their face, and it's really hard to get away from that, especially with your Q, which is gore, so you launch them upward, and then you can just punch them into the ground. If they do get away, you have your right mouse button, which is Chuck, which you could throw a spear at them, and you can either do more damage, or you could build it where it does a ring around the enemy and it slows them. I always find that's really hard to hit, so I usually go damage and just spear them in the back of the skull. But I'm lazy, so. Then you have Bull Rush, great engage, great escape, depending on the situation. You could either get out with it, or you can go in with it. Again, gore, unbelievable. And then lastly, his focus, which is Labyrinth. Incredible.
Bull Rush.
Huh? I went through Bull Rush. What?
Bull Rush, gotta go fast.
Huh? Oh, it's alright. We'll make this part 2, and we started late anyway, so we'll just go a little later also. So Labyrinth. I know you have to go, Fox, but Labyrinth's spears fall from the sky, trapping all the enemies. Really, really awesome. Love me some Lordnosis. Great engage, great CC.
Fun fact, trivia, like the upgrade for Chuck, the Taurus, the one with the spears from the sky and the slow, that used to be the Q. That was the Q back at PAX Prime when I very first played the game. So you can already see the kind of changes they've done over the months.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and all this information is subject to change, so everything here very well may as the game improves and goes through different stages. So.
And to touch on kind of, the whole changing process, a lot of it, from what I understand, is that, Motiga wants to make this game where every character is unique and has that unique playstyle and that unique, unique feeling to them. So in terms of when you get into this game and when you're playing, when you want to pick a character, you're going to notice that when you jump from character to character, no character plays the same.
Yes.
There's a lot of diversity, and I think that's what makes this game really interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And next we have Roland, another ranged character. Who would like to field Roland?
This is you want to
or Fox? Is this your boy?
This is one of my favorite characters in the game. Mainly because he's the only character that has normal feet. If you actually go through all the characters, he is the only character that has a regular shoe. Basically, you have your left click. It's like a shotgun. It's got crazy recoil, but if you can manage your recoil, this character's for you because he can put a lot of damage out. Then you have your bolas, or Ebola. It fires a projectile, and it basically rapes your enemy. There's no way that you could get away from Ebola. It is the best, one of the best abilities and one of the best slows in the game, mainly because it does do a lot of damage. Then you have your grappling hook, which is the most fun ability in the game. So if you are familiar with Pudge, you can upgrade your grappling hook to actually pull enemies towards you. Now, not many people might take this in a game because it is hard to land. It is definitely worth trying and watching the enemy float towards you and spin around. It is the coolest thing ever. Then onto your E ability, which is suppressing fire. You hold it down and you launch a barrage of shots that will ignite the enemy on fire. You can upgrade this to actually use it twice in a row, which is really strong in a team fight. You can definitely put a lot of damage on people. And then hand cannon, it is the best focus ability in the game, arguably, because it basically dazes the enemy for a ridiculous amount of time. And if you get hit by it, you're basically dead. You have no mobility at that point. You cannot use any spells. You're done.
I will say, just because I know Greg Mombalto is hanging out in chat, ask him about grappling hook, because that's, I think, literally been his job for a month now.
Yeah, on the last episode we did talk about that. It was very funny.
And that's another thing too. Yeah, the character itself, that ability has been the most difficult for them. So, but it's definitely worth checking out if you get a chance.
Yeah, if you haven't played Roland yet, and you haven't had to deal with his grappling hook being kind of hard to land, like, whenever you end up in the game, whenever you get to play it, and, like, grappling hook is beautiful and awesome and works exactly how you expect, thank Greg.
My best experience with Roland, one time we thought, let's troll the other team, so we all sat in a tree, and as one player would walk by, I would grab him with the grappling hook and pull him into the tree, and we'd all kill him. I think that was the most fun I've ever had in Gigantic.
That's hysterical.
One thing I want to say before we leave Roland, this is a common mistake I saw new players making it packs. They look at his art, they look at his model, and they think, okay, this guy's could be like a ranged character. I should stay as far back as possible and poke my enemy down. That's a shotgun that he's holding. Each one of those individual flak shots is a projectile. So if you're far away, that flak is not going to hit that tiny target that's all the way across the map. If you use the Q as an initiate, or if you just like jump on top of someone from above and you shotgun their face, every single one of those flak is hitting that single target, and he can blow up a character faster than anyone else, even faster than Trip if he gets the jump on him.
Yeah, and his just touching on that, the closer you are to with Blunderbuss, when you use your left click, you will actually cause them to bleed out when you upgrade it a certain way, which means the closer you are, the more damage you're going to do. Not to be mistaken, though, he does have some pretty good range considering it's a shotgun, and you can finish people off long range, but he's definitely in your face.
All right, excellent. So lastly, we have Wu, and I did bring up his page. So this is gonna be a little bootleg. Oh God!
Okay, bootleg. This is my favorite character. I'm gonna wait and delay mumble thing. I'm trying to get Wu on the screen. Anyway, I'll start. So Wu, this is the judo high flying assassin bruiser, get in your face, never can kill frog that I love so much. So his kit is designed on the use of combos, whereas if you combo your abilities effectively, you do more damage or you get more utility out of the character. His left click Rain of Blows is just a spammable attack, but each one he's like gaining momentum, so he can use that momentum to chase players that are trying to run away. The right mouse button splash kick, you can press it and leap up into the air. And then if you hold it again while you're in the air, you can aim a ground targeted spinning kick onto the enemy that will do heavy damage, and you can upgrade it to do things like slow or armor break or interrupt their attacks. Also, the splash kick, you can leap forward, and if you're holding back pedal, you can also leap backwards, do the right click, and then jump right back in, kind of like a bait. Oh, you thought I was running because I was low health? Nah, just kidding. And just jump right back on top of someone that was chasing you. The Q, you hold it, and he does like one attack, and then he just kind of goes into full Zen mode, like folding his arms in. And then after that, when it's reached full duration or when you let go, he like does a 5-inch punch or something right on top of someone, and stuns him. And he's got extra armor while he's in that Zen mode. So you can just kind of, once again, bait someone in, think they're about to get you, go heavy armor, land an interrupt, and then start wailing on their face. Also, the Q's really nasty in that you can upgrade it into like this spinning attack that will allow him to just twirl around like Spin to Win Garen. And every single time he hits you, he's interrupting your attacks.
He's a
So
goddamn
that is
nightmare.
really, really dirty. The Tongue Lash is one of my favorite skills in the game. It's got dual purpose. So if he is on the ground when you use the Tongue Lash, the E skill, he pulls enemies in. It targets the enemy hero or the enemy creature or whatever. If he is mid-air through a jump or through a splash kick or anything that would cause him to not be grounded, using the Tongue Lash, it then targets a piece of collision on the map, and it turns into a pull that pulls his model to that location. So it has different uses depending on where he's grounded or whether he's aerial. It's like the first kind of skill in Gigantic I've ever seen have that dual purpose functionality. And it's so cool because you can be in a fight, look like you're about to die, leap away, find a spot real quick, tongue lash to it, and there's no way the enemy is going to catch you. And then his focus skill is just like a one-hit wonder. It has a small pull range to it, but it's best if you use it right on top of someone just so you don't miss. It does crazy damage, and it knocks up the target in the air, so even if you don't finish him off, you got a little time to just wail on him. Wu is so fun, just darting in and out. He's like the master of engage because you can choose how you want to go into a fight. You can go in with the splash kick. You could pull someone in first and wail on them a bit. When they try and get away, use the splash kick to chase them down. You could use the Q, bait them in, stun them, swing on them a bit. When they think they're about to get away, pull them in, swing on them some more. When they think they're about to get away, splomp in their face.
Is it safe to say that he might be your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, all right, guys. So we're gonna switch gears a bit, because apparently just characters alone are a whole show. We were talking about times, and apparently we need a lot more time because we still have a ton of the basics to go through. So I think we're gonna make this a two-parter. We're gonna go ahead and do.
It's a two-party.
It's a two-party. And
Super party.
And we're going to switch gears a bit to the art spotlight and community coach spotlight. I still want to do that this week. Give due to those who need it. And next time we will still be hitting up the interface. We still have maps talking about the rampages, wounds, the clash, victory conditions. So we still have a ton more to go through.
Actually, how you play the
Actually,
game.
how, yeah. So I will get dates for you guys. Hopefully we will do the two-parter sooner rather than later. And we'll see where we get to at that point. But all right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch gears to our art spotlight. So, we're even doing this a little bit differently. Our art spotlight is not painted art. We actually have a story called Desert Trek, A Gigantic Tale. It is about Sven, and this is by Rotram, who has been posting gigantic fanfic for a little while now. Really, really cool stuff, and it's nice to see because we don't have a lot of lore. So yeah, here we have a quick. Oh, I'm gonna read it, and feel free to hop in, guys, with anything you want to say about the fanfic. Really, really good stuff. He took a quick inventory of his belongings. He was a bit better stocked today than normal, but if he didn't know where he was going, it was impossible to say if it was enough. So, 4 years of theater, here we go. Before he'd walked off too far, he stopped to poke at a spiky green plant that clung to the desert floor. He tore part of it off in a slow, methodical manner before squeezing its content onto an empty test tube. He tapped the side of the test tube, looking towards the sun through its clear contents before attaching it to his side and continuing on his journey. Sven was quite fortunate for the curative nature of his healing waters. Every time he approximated about half hours past, he poured a single drop onto his tongue, and that satisfied him. So again, that's a clip from Desert Trek, A Gigantic Tale. You can catch Rottrum's other story on Reddit, and as well as GGUnleashed.com. We actually have him on doing his stories now, and we're really excited to have him. Very, very talented. Very awesome to see a different form of art than we usually see. So, next we have our community coach! We have none other than Daniel, aka Pento Rumble.
Yeah, Penta Rumble.
Yay, Penta.
Yep, I thought I freaking love his pictures. I can't. I asked him for pictures, and he delivered. He delivered so good.
That's a hell of a lot better than my picture was.
Oh god, your pictures were so good. Everyone so far has been unbelievable. So if there's ever a guy who knows this game, it's him. He is incredible. Very, very knowledgeable. Awesome guy. And he is the official starter of the Sven is Love, Sven is Life movement. He is passionate for that shirtless lunatic. He is Dutch. Dutchen, he's gonna yell at me. So he is German. That is German. It's Dutchen? Deutsch? I don't know. He's gonna yell at me later for that.
It's Deutsch.
Deutsch!
I took 9 years of German. I'm gonna use it.
You took 9 years? Okay, okay. Well, you're gonna help me with the thank you then. So he is Die Besten.
And it's the best kid.
I didn't know that about you, Perry. I'm learning new things about you every day. He is also a rat owner and a pet lover, which is close to my heart. I've owned rats my whole life, so I was really excited to learn that about Penta. Before he hit Gigantic, he was in Guild Wars 1. He was a WoW First Kill Raider, League of Legends, Infinite Crisis team captain of Pentasports / player representative in the EU. So this is a guy that's been over multiple platforms. Guarantee you he knew more than the developers during his time in those other games. He's awesome, always willing to help. So if you have any questions, need any help, I would absolutely recommend Penta. Awesome guy. Thank you for being Die Besten! For being the best. You rock. Die Besten!
Er ist die Besten!
So yeah, again, thank you, Penta. You're awesome.
Yeah, as Balkier points out, 500 comments on the forum. Like the guy is fantastic.
Yeah.
What?
He is just a fantastic person in every possible way. He tries so hard.
He does. We love him. Oh, going back to Backcap. Go away, Windows Capture. So yeah, that wraps up our spotlight. This is part 1 officially, because, well, I ran out of time, and we ran out of time, so we're gonna be back with the episode 5, part 2, the Redux, where we're gonna be discussing the in-game mechanics and get into the actual meat and potatoes of the game. When I do the VOD, I will also give out dates for when we will have a second episode. Whew, that was a mouthful. So, thank you. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you so much, Noir Bart. Thank you, Malcor. And thank you, Fox, for joining me in discussing the characters of Gigantic.
No problem.
Thank you all for joining us and watching and commenting. You guys are awesome. We wouldn't do this without you. And you can check us out at GG Unleashed on Twitter _Unleashed and ggunleashed.com. And we will catch you next time for part 2.
Peace.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.